Quicksand rescue. The morning sun filtered through the ancient oak trees of Millfield Creek, casting golden rays across the forest floor. Tommy Martinez had been walking these trails since he was old enough to tie his own shoes. At 19, he knew every route, every stone, and every dangerous spot in the woods that surrounded his small village. Tommy carried a worn canvas backpack filled with wild herbs and mushrooms he had been gathering since dawn. His grandmother needed them for her remedies, and the small income from selling her herbal teas helped keep their modest cabin warm during winter months. Life in the village of Cedar Falls wasn't easy, but it was honest work, and Tommy had learned to find peace in the simple rhythm of his days. The creek meandered through the forest like a lazy snake, sometimes wide and shallow, sometimes narrow and deep. Tommy knew where the safe crossing points were, but he also knew about the treacherous areas where the water had created patches of quicksand over the years. His grandfather had taught him to read the land, to spot the telltale signs of unstable ground. As Tommy followed the familiar path toward the old wooden bridge, he heard something unusual, a voice scared and breathless, calling for help from somewhere ahead. "Help, please. Someone help me." Tommy dropped his backpack and ran toward the sound. The voice was coming from near Willow Bend, a section of the creek where the water curved sharply and the ground was notoriously unstable. His heart pounded as he pushed through the thick undergrowth. When he emerged into the clearing, Tommy saw her immediately. A young woman with blonde hair was trapped in quicksand up to her waist, about 15 feet from the creek bank. She was wearing what looked like expensive hiking clothes, but they were now covered in mud and marsh water. Her face was pale with fear, and she was trying desperately not to move. "Don't struggle," Tommy called out, his voice calm but urgent. "The more you move, the deeper you'll sink. Just stay still." The woman's eyes met his, and he could see both relief and terror in them. "I can't get out," she said, her voice shaking. "I was trying to cross here, and suddenly the ground just gave way." Tommy quickly assessed the situation. The quicksand was in a depression where an old beaver dam had once backed up water, creating a pocket of saturated sand and clay. He had seen smaller animals get trapped here before, but never a person. "My name is Tommy," he said, keeping his voice steady. "I'm going to get you out of there, but I need you to trust me." "What's your name?" "Emma," she replied, her breathing rapid and shallow. "Emma Williams. I was hiking alone, and I got lost. I thought this looked like a shortcut back to the main trail." Tommy nodded. Emma Williams. He didn't recognize the name, but that wasn't unusual. Cedar Falls got occasional hikers and nature photographers from the city, though most stayed on the marked trails. "Okay, Emma, I need you to lean back slowly, as far as you can. Try to spread your weight out like you're floating. Can you do that?" "For me." Emma nodded and carefully leaned backward, extending her arms. The quicksand stopped pulling her down, but she was still trapped. Tommy looked around quickly and spotted a fallen branch about 10 feet long and sturdy enough to support some weight. He dragged it over to the edge of the quicksand pit. "I'm going to slide this branch out to you," he explained. "When it gets close enough, grab it with both hands, but don't pull on it. I'll do all the pulling, just hold on tight." Using all his strength, Tommy pushed the branch out across the quicksand until Emma could reach it. She grasped it firmly, and Tommy began the slow process of pulling her towards solid ground. It took nearly 20 minutes of careful, steady effort. But finally, Emma was free. She collapsed on the muddy bank, exhausted and shivering. Tommy immediately took off his flannel shirt and wrapped it around her shoulders. Her hiking clothes were soaked through, and the morning air was still cool, in the shade of the trees. "Are you hurt?" Tommy asked, kneeling beside her. Emma shook her head, catching her breath, just scared and cold and embarrassed. "I should have stayed on the marked trail." "The important thing is you're safe now," Tommy said. "Can you walk?" "My grandmother's cabin isn't far from here. She can give you some dry clothes and something warm to drink while you recover." Emma looked up at him with gratitude in her eyes. "You saved my life. I don't know how to thank you." Tommy helped Emma to her feet and retrieved his backpack. They walked slowly through the forest, with Tommy supporting her when she felt unsteady. Along the way, Emma asked questions about the plants and trees they passed. She seemed genuinely interested in his knowledge of the forest, and Tommy found himself opening up about his life in the village. "You seem to know everything about this place," Emma said as they approached the cabin. "My family has lived here for 3 generations," Tommy replied. "My grandfather taught me to read the land, to understand how the forest works. It's not just about knowing where the dangers are, it's about respecting the whole ecosystem." At the cabin, Tommy's grandmother Elena welcomed Emma with characteristic warmth. She provided dry clothes and prepared hot herbal tea while Tommy built up the fire. As Emma warmed up by the fireplace, she and Elena talked about the healing properties of various plants. "Your grandson is remarkable," Emma told Elena. "He saved my life today, and he knows more about nature than most people with advanced degrees." Elena smiled proudly. Tommy has always had a gift for understanding the natural world. He could have gone to the university, but he chose to stay here and help take care of me. Later that afternoon, as Emma prepared to leave, she turned to Tommy with an expression he couldn't quite read. "Tommy, I need to tell you something." Something important. She paused, seeming to struggle with her words. My name is Emma Williams, and my father is Robert Williams. He owns Williams Industries. Tommy recognized the name now. Williams Industries was one of the largest companies in the region, involved in everything from manufacturing to environmental research. Robert Williams was rumored to be a billionaire. I'm his only daughter, Emma continued, and I came out here today because I needed to get away from that world for a while. I needed to remember what real life feels like. She pulled a business card from her wallet. I want to offer you something. My father's company has been looking for someone to head up our new environmental conservation division. Someone who truly understands ecosystems and natural preservation. The salary would be ... substantial. Tommy looked at the card, then at his grandmother, who nodded encouragingly. But more than that, Emma said, I'd like to be your friend. Today you showed me kindness without knowing who I was or what I could offer you. That's rare in my world. Over the following months, Tommy took the position with Williams Industries. His work involved protecting natural areas like the one where he had grown up, ensuring that development projects respected the environment. The salary allowed him to care for his grandmother properly while still living the life he loved. Emma visited Cedar Falls regularly, and she and Tommy became close friends. She had found something she had been searching for without realizing it. Genuine connection with someone who valued her for who she was, not what she represented. And Tommy learned that sometimes the most important moments in our lives happen when we simply do what we know is right, helping someone in need without expecting anything in return. The forest had taught him to read the signs of danger and safety, but that day at Willow Bend, it had also taught him that the greatest rewards come from acts of pure kindness.